All right, guys, this is Benji Bruce with Speaking Lifestyle, and I'm going to go over basically your website and the thing that you must have on your website. This is actually the reason why most speakers don't get gigs. I remember sending out a few emails basically asking for speakers if they want to do a speaking gig, a paid gig, and these were gigs that I couldn't do, so I had to find a different speaker. So I asked everyone to send me their websites so I could take a look and then I could recommend them to corporate clients. Well, the problem was 99% of the speakers didn't have a good enough website for the corporate client, so I couldn't send it to the client and they couldn't get the gig. I will tell you that the reason speakers don't get booked is because they have a horrible website. So it's really important that you have a great website, and I'm going to show you how to actually build a website in a way that attracts the right event planner so you can end up charging 5, 7, 10 grand for speaking gigs. This is basically my website right now, and we are going to change it, so I'll show you what the changed one looks like in a second. But this is my website right now. And the first thing you have to understand when it comes to your website is you need to understand that your market is event planners, corporate event planners. I know a lot of speakers want to do like the seminar gigs and get on stage and sell products. The thing is, there's a difference between the seminars and there's a difference between the corporate market. If you want to charge 5, 10 grand for speaking gigs, then you have to center your website around the event planner market and you have to appeal to them. So you want to ask yourself, what's the psychology of the person? What's the psychology of someone who comes to your website? The person who comes to your website, think about it from their standpoint. I'm an event planner. I'm ready to hire a speaker. Well, the thing is, my event is 6, 7, 8 months from now, but I'm ready to hire a speaker right now, this very second. I don't have time to look at your blog. I can't read everyone's blogs because I'm looking at 20, 30 speakers at one time, and I'm trying to figure out which speaker's right for my event. So I'm not going to read everyone's blog. That's just too much. The first thing I'm going to glance, first thing I'll do is I'll glance at your website to see if you look like a pro, to see if you can actually keep up with our corporate event of 500, 600 people. Because if your website looks bad, then we're not going to hire you. So first thing I look at is, okay, does it pass like a scan test? And you'll notice that the first thing people see on my website, they see logos of the companies that I've performed for. They see me on TV, big crowds. There's Remax, a very well-known company. So they see all this social proof. They see that I am what I say I am, that I am a pro. That's pretty much what they see. The first thing you have to figure out is, what do you want them to do on your website? And you obviously want them to hire you. That's the only thing you really want them to do at this moment. Later on, you can upsell them on workshops and products, but at this very moment, you want them to hire you for the speaking gig versus someone else. So from their perspective, they're asking themselves, how do I know this speaker is good? Like, how do I know for sure that this speaker is good? So you have to frame the visitors, the event planners, when they come to your website. And by framing is, I mean that when they come to your website, they should kind of say like, oh my goodness, like, wow, I hope we can hire this guy. I hope this guy's available. I hope we can afford this guy. I remember when I did an event in Finland, I asked the guy how he heard about me, told me through some internet stuff, and then the next thing he said, to be honest, I didn't think we could afford you. And basically, after looking at the site with all the logos, all that stuff, it created that frame that, oh my goodness, I don't know if we can afford this guy. We got to hurry up and get him. So it created that frame. That's the frame that you want to have when people come to your website. And the thing, in Finland, they spent over 18 grand to have me out there, including the fee, the flight, all that stuff. And he said, oh, at first I didn't think we could afford him. So you need to create that impression of, wow, I hope we can hire this guy. And that's what all this social proof does. My entire website is all about social proof. It's all, there's the pictures, there's the videos, even the video here of my demo video, you'll see that I have the logos as the thumbnail picture. And the reason I have the logos as a thumbnail picture is just because it creates more social proof versus having a picture, versus having something like this where sure there's a crowd right there, but I have pictures of other crowds here. So it's much better to have that thumbnail where you can see the logos of the company. So even little things like that is something you want to pay attention to. And remember how I talked about how you want to frame them to say, oh, I don't know if this guy's available. That's what you want to talk about. You always want to talk about to check your availability, to check Benji Bruce's availability, to check John Doe's availability. That is a simple change you can make on your website right now to put for availability, contact this. It's a simple change because if you say like something like, hey, do you want to hire Benji Bruce? Well, now the frame is different. Now it's more like, hey, I hope they hire me as a speaker versus saying, hey, to check for my availability. You see, there's a difference. One of them saying like, oh, I hope I get the gig. The other one saying, hey, I might not even be available to do your event. So it's important that you really, really create the social proof around it. And here's actually the new website that we are making. If it'd go back to the home page here, this is actually the new website, and it's very similar. You'll notice that there's the Remax thing, there's the logos, there's the pictures, and then as soon as they scroll down, bam, there's more pictures, and there's me on TV. You can see these are me on TV, the bigger crowds. That's what you want to have on your website. It should immediately pass the scan test because people are they're gonna scan your website. They're just going to do this basically. They're going to scan it and then they're going to say, okay, maybe I'll read it. So then maybe they'll start to read. So it's important that your website passes this scan test. You'll notice there's the logos, there's the Fox, there's the big crowd. They can watch videos. And here, this website isn't finished yet, but this is where logos of the companies I perform for, this is where it'll go. So it's important that you truly, truly have this social proof all over your website. And it's also important with videos. Videos are a must-have. I remember looking at several speakers' websites, and about 80% of them did not have any videos whatsoever. I mean, it amazed me. The way you're going to get hired is if you have videos. Think about it from an event planner standpoint. How do I know you're a good speaker? I can't trust what you say because, of course, you're going to tell me you're a great speaker. How do I know that you're a great speaker? The only way I can know is if I watch videos. So these are videos from live events. You'll notice that here, once again, my demo, if you have a good demo, you want to showcase it. And this is another video that has gotten me several gigs here because that's actually the ending to what I do on stage, and it just blows them away every time. But you'll notice as they scroll down, these are placed here for a reason. This is footage of me on TV. If you have any footage of you on TV, you definitely want to showcase that on your website because once again, it provides that social proof of, oh my goodness, this guy is big time. You basically want to create inside their mind a reaction of, can we afford this guy? Is he even available? That's the reaction you want them to have inside their mind. And then also you want to have reviews. Reviews are very important because you can have tons of reviews on your website, which you do want to have. In fact, you want to have so many reviews that they can't really watch all of them. It'll just take up too much time to watch the reviews. So here we have plenty of reviews, which we'll add more of later. But you'll also notice, take a look at the thumbnails on these reviews. They're smiling. It looks like they're having a great time. Look at him. This is a guy, Zach. Great guy, really cool guy. Look at his reaction. You don't even have to click on it. He just looks like he's having a good time. Smiling. You can tell he's having a good time. They scroll down once again. If you can capture the thumbnails where people are smiling or they're doing something where it just looks like they're having fun, like her right here, she's like, oh my gosh. Like if you can do something like that with the thumbnail, then that's what you want to have as a thumbnail versus something normal. You'll notice that on both of these websites, the one that's not available, this one, and the one that is available. I don't have up here blog. There's nothing about a blog on my website. The reason is because you need to feature certain content, and that content needs to be the content that's going to get you hired. And the content that an event planner is looking for, a corporate event planner, is they want to see video footage of you in action. They want to see that you've done it before. They want to see the pictures. They want to see that you really are a pro. You don't necessarily need a blog if you want to charge 5, 7, 10 grand. Even the top guys in the industry, Tony Robbins, Brian Tracy, all those guys. If you look at like Brian Tracy, he has a blog on his homepage. If you look at it, you'll notice he has, I think it's about 700,000 Facebook fans, and only I think maybe 30 of them have shared his blog. The thing is, you don't want to spend your time on a blog when you should be spending your time actually getting clients and building a real speaking business. So the stuff that you want to feature is really all about your videos, really. And then another thing I want to point out is the copywriting, like what's actually written on your website. First off, don't ever call reviews testimonials. Even though they are testimonials, don't call them testimonials, because reviews, people don't type in people don't type in testimonial of John Doe. They type in review of John Doe. So make sure you call it reviews instead of testimonials. And you'll also notice here, the main header, it says motivational speaker. I didn't get fancy. I didn't say like changing people's lives one step at a time. I didn't say anything fancy, just bam, motivational speaker. The reason you want to do this is you want to keep it really simple, because as soon as they go to your website, they should immediately understand what you do. If you try to make it complicated by coming up with something cool, a cool little elevator pitch, a cool tagline, well, they're going to read it and they're going to say, oh, that's cool. What does he do? That's what they're going to say. And so it's important that if you're a motivational speaker, put motivational speaker. If you're a leadership speaker, put leadership speaker. People don't type in taglines. When people Google, they type in motivational speaker in Las Vegas, or inspirational speaker, speaker on leadership. Those are the things they type in. They don't type in taglines like the guy who's changing lives one step at a time speaker. They don't type in that stuff. So as soon as they go to your website, they should immediately know what it is you do. Now for the copywriting part, the one thing you need to understand, sure, you're a speaker, but you're also an entertainer too. When people hire speakers, when the corporate event planners hire speakers, they need an entertaining speaker. They don't want someone who's boring. So the thing is, when you're writing, you need to make sure, like, hey, yes, I give great content, but it's also very entertaining as well. So just keep that in mind. And on your About page, people are going to visit your About page probably more than any other page. So you'll notice here with the copywriting, I've highlighted in the purple some of the clients that I've been on stages for. Remax, AAA, Hilton, I've highlighted these guys in purple, because once again, instead of just using the About page as a page to say, yeah, I started entertainment when I was 10 and I began making money when I was 13. Instead of doing all that, you actually want to build more social proof. Whenever you can build social proof, that's when you want to do it. So just keep that in mind. And like I said earlier, people scan, they don't read. So everything on your website should be very scannable, because once they scan and they see something interesting, then they're going to start reading. And like I said, of course, use familiar words, and also don't use fluff words. Fluff words are things like, oh, the most incredible motivational speaker in the world. And well, you don't want to have your entire website full of fluff words. You want to make a very vivid impression when someone's reading your website. So if you say things like he'll get or something like, more people have come up to you after the event and say how great the speaker was than any other speaker you've ever hired before. something like that off the top of my head. It gives you a vivid image of what's going to happen. In their head, they see, oh, okay, people are going to come up to me and thank me for having this speaker at my event. Or when you say something like, look, standing ovations guaranteed, something like that, it basically creates an image inside their head where it says, yeah, this guy's going to get a standing ovation. I can picture that in my head. So it's important that when you are creating your website, that you really do go for the social proof. Like if you literally go to my website, benjibruce.com, this is the benjibruce.com one, and this is the one we're making right now, which isn't finished. But if you go to this website, then you will notice that everything is social proof. That sure, there's text that they can read, but everything is social proof. Now you might be saying to yourself, well, what about guys like Les Brown? Because if you go to Les Brown's website, and Les Brown's one of the top motivational speakers, and if Les is listening to this, then to me, Les has a horrible website. But the thing is, Les is already an established speaker. He doesn't need to have a great website because people know who he is. So they don't really go to his website to really book him. I mean, they don't go to his website to see if he's good. They already know he's good. So they just go to his website to get his contact information. When people don't know who you are as a speaker, they go to your website to see if you're good or not. And that's why you want to have all this social proof with the videos. And I guarantee you it's going to be so hard to get hired if you don't have videos and you don't have social proof. So just keep that in mind when it comes to your website. That's really how you're going to get booked as a speaker. First thing is design a great website, and then going from there, you can do several other things. And in the next video, I'm basically going to show you everything that you really need to do to build your speaking business. Like literally everything you need to have in order to get speaking gigs. But for now, just keep in mind that you really do need to have an incredible website and make those changes, even the simple change on your contact page where it says for availability. Make those changes because you want to frame the person, frame the event planner to a point where they're saying to themselves, I hope we can hire this guy.